In this week's video, I have hopefully the last few bits I will need to put on my R32 before it needs to go over for registration. Now the first bit I've got are the two rear pods. I need these so that the car looks better. Yeah, that's why I need them. They go on there just like that. Yep. They're going to be pretty easy to install. It's more the prep work I need to do. It's going to take me a bit of time to get done. Secondly, are these little side indicator things. They should do quite nicely once they're in there. They'll be easy too. And last but not least, an oil cooler. For those of you who've been watching for a little while, probably noticed the braided line coming out of my engine bay, looping back and going back in. This one right there. That's got to go to one of these. So we've got one of these to put it on. The thing that's going to probably take the most stuffing around is the oil cooler. So that's the first one we're going to do today. So there is the braided line right there, coming out and curling around there and looping back into the oil sandwich blade. We need it to not do that. Now I already have a pretty good idea of where I'm going to mount the oil cooler because there's a fair bit of open room in here. And I've got this plate that you might be able to see just coming out there. Have a plate come off the back of that and mount it basically on the back side of the intercooler off of that top sandwich plate. First, I'm going to start taking things off so that we can get in there and have a look. Pretty much should work exactly how I want it to. Alrighty, so what I'm thinking, now that we can actually see it a bit better, I've got this bracket here that I made up to hold the intercooler. If I can have a bracket from the underside of this in and then going down, coming along and then coming back up into that, then what I can do, bolt straight to that. And then the bottom, I'll probably just do something similar, an L bracket come up from the base because that'll take the majority of the weight from it. That one will just be to make sure it doesn't go back and forth. All right. This is what I'm thinking I'll make the bracket out of. I don't want to just jump into it, start bending this up and then come up with something that doesn't work. So I'm going to try and fab it up with cardboard first. I've got my length, kinda. I'm going to go cut this and bend it. Now I have a bent piece of steel with one hole in it. Well, that's one step of the puzzle done. Let's see if it goes in without hitting anything. Ta-da! It's technically bolted up. So I didn't really want to stop and talk about how I was doing this one. I just kind of wanted to get it done. Just one piece of steel that came out and straight down. So it's fixed here, and on the other one it's fixed on the top and on the bottom. It's not going anywhere, so I'm, proper happy with that. I think what we're going to end up doing, because there's no real good way to route this, if we go along the frame rail and then we pop up through here, we can have a 90 onto there, and then a 90 onto there. Take one half of this off today, figure out how much line I need and exactly what bits I'll need in case these won't do the job. It's gonna be a pain in the butt getting in there. Like I actually don't know how I'm gonna get in there to get it off, but we're gonna have to give it a crack and just see how we go. Just one drop. Dope, -10. So those ones there aren't gonna be big enough. We are gonna have to run bigger. Oh, fuck. Yeah, probably should have seen that coming, hey? All right, well, I'm really glad I took that end off because the fittings that I've got are -8 and this is -10. So we need -10 90s to go on here. 2 meters of -10 oil line and then 2 90 -10 to whatever that third pitch is. I'm gonna leave it there for today and we're gonna pick this up tomorrow in like 30 seconds for you guys. See you then. Well, it do be raining now, but fuck. We got bits, so we're gonna chuck them on. So we've already got this guy here, and now we've got these things, or these guys. You go on there like that, and then that will go into our oil cooler, and this onto our braided line that we've now got. We got 2 of these things. Let's chuck them in. All right, first thing I gotta do is get the existing braided line fully off. It's such a fucking pain in the ass. What an absolute pain in the ass. It's off now, and then I dropped one end in the dirt, so I had to take it off and clean it out, and that was a pain in the ass too. I've got the tape on there to mark where I need to cut it. I'm gonna put a bunch more tape on there so it doesn't burr out. I'm gonna try to put the lines on, and then we're gonna cut it. Just like that. Don't stab yourself in the fucking hand. And that's one braided line made up and good to go on. Second line done. Holy shit, I am so glad that is over. What an absolute pain in the butt. Mostly just getting that off from underneath inside there. If you can imagine where the oil filter is on an RB, it's pretty in there. And this was connected to it. So, pain in the butt. But we're all good now. Let's chuck them in. Guess what? I'm still missing a bit. I need an oil thermostat, which I don't have. And I kind of thought about it when I purchased the cooler, but I was like, oh, it's probably like, you don't need it on something that's this stock, surely. No, you do, as I've been advised, because otherwise you might not get up to full temps. Now, it might be a case of better safe than sorry, but I'd rather be safe than sorry. So, with that in mind, I've ordered a thermostat. It's there. Bye. Yep. Gonna go whack